this affirmation has been a really important one for me, just to honor that I'm not stuck, even if things are like slower than I hoped for. And so this is probably my favorite mantra of the past couple of years that helped me pass through the hardships.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Brandi Hofer. Welcome to the Color Me Happy podcast. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful for your time. You are going to feel so empowered with our episodes and our guests because they live a truly passionate life. They're excited about what they do. They know that creativity matters and that your art matters and that it matters to following your passion in life to ultimately see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. These episodes are almost unedited, very raw, so it'll feel like you're sitting down for coffee with a friend. Feel free to reach out anytime at Brandi Hofer Studios on Instagram and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for being here.
That's crazy.
I know.
I was just thinking that this year it will be like 3 years since we had our trip to New York.
Is it?
Yes.
That's not cool, actually. Oh, that was such a dream. Okay, do you want to, let's talk about that. I'm going to start anyways, because we'll run out of time and I know it. But Juliana and I are well, I'm a former art queen, a non-participant just for time's sakes now, but it's a wonderful community. And we had the pleasure of, and this is a cool thing about meeting people and touching base with creatives online, is that you can maybe meet. And I always saw it happening. Like, I feel like I manifested that for sure, because I like manifested being with those exact people. And then
that's
you
so
were
awesome.
like the cherry on top of the whole trip. Juliana took me around New York and showed me the best parts, and we connected in this really cool way, and you made New York fun. Yeah, so I'm so grateful that we got to finally meet in person there. So yeah, we can talk about manifesting, but since then you after that got married to someone from New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
My husband was actually living there when we met, and we met on that trip as well. So it was just wild how my life changed after spending that season in 2022 there. So we met as soon as I got there. I think it wasn't even a week. I was there for 3.5 months, just like slow traveling, enjoying everything that New York has to offer when it comes to the arts, and not just like visual arts. That is probably your biggest passion, being an artist, but also the musicals and just all the cultural scene there. And I was not expecting to make so many new friends, and let alone like meet my husband. So that's still wild for me to think about.
Yeah. Yes. So can you talk about that? Can you talk about, like, first of all, the fact that like you wanted to go live in New York for a bit?
The first time that I've been to New York, I was still a teenager, and I went with my school choir, actually, because we were participating in a national choir, even though we were not a choir from the US, and we got the privilege to sing at Carnegie Hall. So that was pretty amazing. And I think I was 14, 15 back
Wow.
then, a lifetime ago. And I just really loved the city, the energy, and I just felt so excited. And in 2018, I was able to take an amazing course for educators at the Med, the Guggenheim, and MoMA, because they had this program together for summer where educators from all over the world would go there, spend 2 weeks immersed in those amazing institutions and learn more ways to connect and engage with art. So it was pretty amazing. And that was the time that I actually got to really experience New York, being older and for a longer time as well. And I just could see myself going back and really being in that city for a little bit, because there are so many things that I love about there. And life happened, many things happened while I was trying to figure out how I was gonna go there for a little longer. And I even applied for a master's and got accepted, and then the pandemic happened, and then I decided to become an art therapist. So I paused that dream for a little bit, but in 2022, it was just one of those things of manifesting, I guess, when I finally let go of the dream of, okay, I'm gonna go to New York, be there for a little bit, because I felt like I was doing a lot of work and nothing was happening. So I was just like, well, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's just not the right time. So let's leave this dream on the shelf for a little bit, and who knows. But I got invited to take a trip there for 2 weeks, and it was just the most random thing, because I got the invitation to go in a week that many people started reaching out. Hey, you were in New York, right? Can you give me tips? I would love to hear more. So New York was just like popping back in my life, and I was like, sure, let's talk about it. And then I got this invitation to take a quick trip there, and I was okay. Well, maybe if I'm going, I'll just try to take a longer trip and do this slow type of traveling where you actually get to stay in one place for a long time, just kind of living like a local and still enjoying what the city has to offer. So I was able to make it work to be there for 3.5 months. And as soon as I did that, Alicia invited me to participate in the Affordable Art Fair of the year. I was able to find a place to rent that was on my budget, an apartment just for me, with a friend of mine that would be away in those exact same months that I was traveling. So everything was just pointing to go.
Yeah.
And so I went, and I didn't really have a plan. There was a lot about learning how to let go as well, which was something that I've always struggled. Like, for me, having the sense of being in control was huge. But again, I rented this apartment for part of my trip, but the other part, I had no idea where I was going to stay. And
Oh, no.
so it was kind of crazy in a way, but it really allowed me to start trusting life more and the universe more. And it's funny and special that I'm actually getting a chance to talk about it today, because I feel that now I'm in a moment of my life that I really want to get back to trusting more and just allowing things
it's funny
to
how you can
unfold.
Be in that, and like you're like, wow, everything's just working out, and it's because you work so hard on the mindset in the first place. Not overthinking and trusting in your ability to meet every situation and every emergency with like you have the skills to figure it out. And I think the biggest blockage for people is the fear of the unknown, and we're never in control of the future. So I'm not sure why we do that in the first place. So it's like, visualizing those opportunities and then kind of trusting that you'll get there, but it probably and likely won't be at all in the way that you thought you would, right? And I feel like
Yes.
we both kind of got, it's so weird how we got there in the same moment. Because I had just my, I don't know why, but I needed, because I had started the podcast, started the community, and I already edited everything. And then I'm like, okay, I need a new computer. And like the MacBook man was like, ma'am, it sounds like you need a monster computer. And I was like, I agree. I think I need a monster computer if I'm like running all these giant programs at once, like all the Adobe suites and editing. And it's very, so like, that was like, you know, I put that on my credit card just that week. And then I had talked to Alicia and I was like, I would love in the future if I could be in an art fair. I've never been in an art fair. I want to travel. I want to, like, I think I can leave my kids for a couple days. And like, I'm at this, like, I need to see you guys or be somewhere with people who aren't under the age of 8. Like, I need female connection. And she's like, no, we're like, we have this year here, this year there. And then like 2 days later, she's like, this other gallery wants to share a figurative wall. Are you in? I was like, I just filled my whole credit card. I think I got a phone and a computer. I was like, yep, I'm there. Yeah.
It worked.
Honestly, I was like, so I got myself into like a scary financial $10,000 situation, right? Because to go to New York, it costs another 10 grand. So I had my stuff I just invested in because I believe in the not overthinking. I'm very opposite of you and like, it'll work out. And it did. My friend Jessie shared, I had just made the portrait class and my friend Jessie shared it on her because she's a portrait artist. And while I was gone with my family, literally it made the money for me to go to New York. And then after I got the travel grant and all together, it paid for that trip. And it's like, you just have to have faith in your ability and the universe's ability or whatever you believe in to provide for you. And that you'll just figure it out like along the way.
Yes, absolutely. And it's scary. And some seasons are easier to just stress, and others are so hard. But we've got to keep trying to have more faith each day, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier to say after the fact that it all happened, right? Like it's easier for you to be like, I didn't have a place to live, but then I did, right? Like it's easy to be like, oh, it all worked out. But in those moments, it was so scary, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we all met each other and no one knew each other either. Like we all went for donuts, dinner, just like, but it felt like because we were part of that community. And I think because we were all there was something like so magical about it. And honestly, it felt like I was just with friends I had known
forever.
for years. Yeah, like it was crazy. So then it leads you to these really impactful moments in your life, right? And for you, obviously, like your life, like it's very important you did that.
Yes. No, it's crazy. And now looking back, my husband and I just joked that I took the trip just so we could meet, and that he moved to New York just so we could meet as well. So it's wild how sometimes one decision can lead you to a path that you did not expect at all.
Mm-hmm. Are you in Brazil now?
I am in Brazil. I just got here last week, and even though I'm married, we're still doing long distance because you have to have a lot of patience and trust the divine timing if you want to be with someone who does not live in your country, because bureaucracy can be so crazy and take such a long time. But it's one of those things you just have to ask yourself if it's worth it, and in my case, it was an obvious choice, yes. And we're doing whatever we can to be together when we can be together, taking turns into who's traveling, and just understanding that this is a season where we'll still have to sacrifice our time together, but knowing that in the long term, we'll be able to share our life like every day.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're still young, and distance does make the heart grow fonder. Like, your time together is more precious. Like, I feel like you appreciate it. And I met my husband, and then we did 2 years long distance. So it's definitely possible. And I think when you know, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. But it's wild that you brought that up, because when you are together with the person, you were really present. And I think that's something really beautiful as well. That long distance is teaching me still. But oh boy, we really enjoy those months that we can actually
Yeah.
be together and take trips and go out on adventures and really try to make the most out of the limited amount of time that we have. Uh, in that particular season. So that's also something really special, because it's an invitation to really be there and make the most out of what you have.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to know, because we started the podcast, we haven't seen each other since, we've talked maybe in between New York once, but not a lot. Like, we haven't talked a lot in a long time. I want to know, art-wise, what's going on in your world as a creative.
As a creative, I've been working a lot with our magazine, Phototrouvée Magazine, the project that I have with Twiggy. So the past couple of years, I've really committed to that, because I had to choose what was possible for me. Because again, the end of that year that we had the trip to New York, I lost my grandma. And for me, losing her was really hard, and I needed a longer amount of time that I would hope to heal and grieve. So it was hard for me to commit to my own art practice and make art and focus on my individual projects. But because I was working with Twiggy, with the magazine, it was easier for me to feel supported and to focus my energy there. So that was really special as well, to have this connection, have this other community of artists using vintage photos, family photos in their projects, while I was navigating an extremely hard time within my art practice. And after I started to get better, I started to explore a little bit more with my art practice, because just embroidering photos was not enough anymore for me. And I was in that weird in between moment, I guess. But I kept slowly doing newer works, trying to understand what I wanted to do within my art practice. And also, I had just graduated from my master's in art therapy. So as soon as I felt that I had the energy to support others again, I started promoting my art therapy workshops and programs to help and support others individually, but in group settings as well. And that brought so much joy back to my life again. And it really showed me a different path than the one that I was going to, in a way. And because I was also going through an art therapeutic process to navigate grief, it just sparked this um, necessity even to be the person guiding others just to bring more creativity into their lives to promote well-being.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Yes, you guys started a membership in your community, right?
Yes, we started a membership as well, and that's a big project that it's a
Yeah.
lot. And part of the reason why we've been so busy as well, but we also have the residency programs that are my favorite program and project of everything that we do with the magazine, just to uh, hold a safe space for artists to develop a project and share ideas and support them in their growth as artists and individuals. So that's definitely my very favorite project with the magazine. And this year we're reaching our 5th anniversary. So that's also wild for me to think that it's something that Twiggy and I have been working for half a decade now.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely wild. And it comes from the place is like, we do this and we both love it. And it's pretty awesome because I've taken your workshops, which is like probably a little piece of how your residency would feel. So I imagine they're amazing. And you're so supportive and patient and kind, and it's just like so great. So it's amazing. It's like we don't see this anywhere, so we're going to start it ourselves, taking that brave
Yes.
step. And then like seeing it out across the 5 years, like how does that make you feel about what you created, thinking back to the person who didn't have that space in what they were doing, and then to now like supporting people in that space?
Oh, it brings tears to my eyes, really. And we just finished editing our 16th issue that's coming out as the 5-year anniversary issue. And we really took a moment to honor our journey so far and to think that we started it saying, hey, maybe there are not enough artists out there working with those vintage photos, but there's you and me, and we know a couple of other artists. Should we try this? Should we just try to find our people and seeing it grow and evolve throughout time, and just knowing now that we have like over 20,000 people connected with us. And for the anniversary, we ended up doing a little trivia. So we collected data from those 5 years, and just seeing that we actually worked with 553 artists so far, like individual artists, not counting the artists who we worked more than once. That was wild because I don't think we had an idea that that would happen. And maybe for other platforms, it doesn't feel like a lot, but for us and for our niche, I think that's a big accomplishment.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, it is very niche, but like also very important and nostalgic, and for people to connect in that way. And it can be very therapeutic. So I love what you do. So I'm not surprised, but like proud of you guys for, creating that out of nothing. But of course it like evolved over time, and I'm sure turned into like something that you didn't plan for, right?
Absolutely. But it's one of those things that life keeps surprising us in many ways. And just to see the impact that the magazine has on other artists as well. And still wanting to expand and grow within what we do, but keeping like the quality and just keep being a community driven platform. I think that's really important. And it's so fun to just have an idea and say, hey, let's do this. So I think one of the projects that we're the most excited about is the Grandparents Project, that it's going to be this beautiful big book that we're inviting artists who work on a project around their grandparents to submit and have it featured. And it goes back to our own personal values and like my relationship with my grandparents, biggest relationship with her grandma, and just finding this common thread that unites us all and ends up creating something really special and with a lot of love and care into it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea for a project. I'm thinking, I'm like, I have some pieces of my grandma and my mom. My favorite piece of yours is your one of your grandma. Or no, Twiggy. Is that Twiggy? No, is that? I can't remember. Oh my gosh, my brain's getting so bad. Is it Twiggy's? Did Twiggy do one of her grandma?
She did. I also have my grandma, both of my grandmas have been muses for my work, so I have a ton.
Yeah.
And
I'm like,
the
how
one
many pieces are in my brain right now?
the one that you have in your collection was my godmother.
Oh,
unapologetically.
I want to go run and get it, but it's amazing. Yes. Oh, the best. That's a great thing about having art friends too. You get to grow your own personal collection of art.
I know, I'm seeing your work. So I'm sitting in a way that your piece is just in front of me.
Yeah, it's usually I haven't been working in my studio just because of my season of life. Everything's on the kitchen table, which is hilarious because I have a full art studio, but honestly, with the murals, it's like a storage space now. So I have yours where my computer should be. Also, the lighting up here is really nice. So it's hard to get like perfect lighting. And the kids' trampoline blocked the lighting from my windows in my studio. So until that trampoline's gone, I will be here upstairs in the daylight. So I'll have to move your piece back up into my like favorite workspace. I also love being surrounded by plants and stuff, and I talk to them, and it's a weirdo in her own. You can create a space wherever you are, right? It's just proof that you can set up a space with the things that you love that remind you of your power in the world. How do you tap into your power? Like I had there are seasons of difficulty and struggle for sure, and where you have to like use it to remind yourself to like keep going. And I would always say my creativity is worthy and powerful. Like, how do you get through those harder, tougher seasons? Do you have a mantra?
I think my favorite mantra for this past couple of years has been slow progress is still progress.
I like that.
Especially because I was going in a really fast pace until my grandma died, and then I just felt lost for the longest time. So getting back to the groove and finding my rhythm again, this affirmation has been a really important one for me, just to honor that I'm not stuck, even if things are like slower than I hoped for. And so this is probably my favorite mantra of the past couple of years that helped me pass through the hardships. And
absolutely, like in times of grief, or if you're struggling with something, mental health, sickness, anything, like simply getting dressed can be really hard, or going for that walk, or like there are different seasons where like I burn out every winter. No surprise. but I always get, like, it's the same time. It's like the least amount of daylight. It's minus 47 here. And
I don't know how you can make it. I just
I
been
know,
through
right?
my worst winter ever in the Midwest, because we moved out of New York for a little bit. And if I could really understand the struggle more, and it was so hard. Like
It's so
so
hard,
hard.
because you're not getting enough fresh air and you're not like getting your vitamin D, and like it's like the world is against you in that time. And I'm always like, I'll go somewhere hot next year, but it's like finding time in that time is difficult too. Now all 3 boys are in hockey, so there's lots of that. Like 12 to 15 times a week we were going to hockey, which is absolutely insane, actually. And so then like doing things for yourself like becomes non-existent. And then I hit burnout and got sick because I have 3 kids and they're dirty and gross. And I work in a school, so yeah, I got like so sick I barely could make it to the bathroom. And then of course the recovery from it, of like you feel depressed, and then I was like, what am I doing every day? Like I have an insane amount that I'm trying to fit in, but of course you just click back into routine after you do feel good again, and then I'll probably burn out again. But it's hard when you like what you're doing, right? Like, and then all of a sudden someone, like this week, someone's like, will you present at our event? And I was like, it's in 4 days. But okay, like it's so hard to, they're so awesome too. And it's like, let's do a film festival. And like, it's just like, it's a challenge for me to say no. And well, I'll probably get better at it over time. I said no once this year.
That's progress. That's still progress. But yeah, it's so challenging, and setting those boundaries because we love so much what we do can be hard. I was feeling proud because, again, I, just like you, I received a last minute invitation to teach a class on how to put together your own art show. And it was like less than a week to present it. And I had taught this class last year, but I was able to say, I would love to do this, but this day won't work for me. Because it would actually have been like today, the class, and like, can we do in a couple of weeks from now so I have more time to clear out my schedule and all of those things. And it was okay. So I was like, yes, okay, I can do this. I can set those small boundaries and make things work still.
For you. Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Is like, okay, let's like put on the brakes and keeping me in mind for the future. Thank you for this like being grateful too. Like in a lot of our classes, this is so funny that I teach other people. In all my classes I have like documents on how to say no in a polite, like good way, but I never do. But that is really good advice, because it's like, yeah, people will wait for you too if they really, really want you, so yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing it.
No problem, but it's a challenge. It's really,
oh my gosh,
so I
it's not
feel
really
you.
yeah, it's not really in me, right? Yeah, well, we're sensitive, empathetic creatives, and it's just like you want to help other people or chat with other people or connect.
Yes.
It's exciting. Like it really is that challenge of like, you love what you do, but also like if you're a contract worker, like you don't want to give up on an opportunity because it might not come around again, or
Yes.
yeah. I have a last and final question for the podcast. Then I want to like just chat with you after for a bit. I want to save time for you and I. This is sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. If you had unlimited funds for your community, so you get to choose because you live in different places, for one day, what would you do with those funds?
Oh, wow. That's an amazing question. I think the first thing that comes to mind, uh, because we're a man in my life right now with our therapy, would be just hosting a day retreat where women could come together to take some time to nourish themselves creatively, express themselves, connect with each other, have great food. Because I'm in Brazil right now, I would probably wish to do it over here, but just like finding a maybe a local museum to partner up and share the space, so people could not only create but also be immersed by other artists' art. I think that would be really special, just doing something like this. What about you?
Oh, um, yeah, there's so many things, right?
I know.
For my, I know, so great. I have a lot of different ideas, like that I dream for my community. I would love, there's this like one area off of one of our biggest parks that I would love for it to be. Of course, I can't personally do these all. So like I have to like be like, what am I gonna do in the future? But I would love an arts district.
Mhm.
So if this is imaginary, it would be built in that day. So like an arts district with really good food, like 2D, 3D art, like places like cobblestone, like a little Europe, but like off of the park. So where people could like get ice cream, walk around the park, go to live music, but also have a brand new pool as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can
And
see it with
yeah,
you.
and I want like my dad has all this land by a real therapy center, like an addiction center. I want like a residency art therapy eco-friendly home slash like where you'll go grow flowers, garden, and the art therapy. I actually have a friend who's a therapist. She's sharing this dream with me. So to have like that center going, but like in a Canadian version, which is so funny. I visited my friends in Victoria, who I never met. They were art friends as well. And one of them's a queen. Susan's a queen. I don't know if Jessa Dupuis is, but they came on the podcast. Never met them. Met them in Victoria because we go every summer. So the west coast of Canada, and who else met? Kylie O'Grady. Yeah, tons of, we just met and it was awesome. And they
That's
were like,
awesome.
you would sell plaid shirts and you'd get pictures by a campfire for your residency. So people would want to come to your frozen tundra of where you live. They like, you have to like sell it or no one's going to come. Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of like big dreams and just like, what can I fit into my lifetime at this point? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, how much, if someone could just give me like a whole bunch of millions of dollars, that'd be super helpful. Let me just put that out there.
Right?
Or I earn it.
Same.
Either I earn it or someone like dies and gives it all to me. I don't know. I'll take anything. That would be great. Yeah. I'm so glad you came on. Thank you for making the time. And if anyone wants to reach you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram by typing my name, Juliana.Naufel is my handle, or my website is www.naufs.com, NAUFSS.com.
And of course, Phototrouvée. And
Yes.
yeah. Also, sorry, you were in Times Square. I forgot to bring that up. I thought of it and then I forgot to, can you just give us a minute on Times Square?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm not sure if it's still the same, but it was easier than I was expecting it to be, because they have those big screens, and the one that I had my art, you can actually just pay a fee, I think it was $40, and share your art or photos or videos there for a little bit. So you pretty much just download the app. I can try to find the name of it for you to leave on the notes of the podcast.
People would love that. Yeah.
And you schedule a time. You don't have to be there. They have a live stream in case you're not in New York at the moment. And it was just one of those manifestations that, of course, I paid for it, but I've always dreamed of having my art on Times Square. And I was able to do it with artworks of my grandmother on her birthday. And New York was also her favorite city in the whole world. So it was really special to honor her in this way.
Yeah, it was so cool. I loved seeing your energy when that happened. And yeah, it was palpable. It was a cool moment. I was so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And again, it's one of those things that sometimes on your own, you're able to make a really cool thing that you dream about happen easier than you think it would be.
Yeah, you have to ask for these things. You are your own best advocate, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandi Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe, and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.